Hi. Hello all newcomers and welcome back my fellow Aeternians. As always, it's me AP, and today I am telling you how the Empire of Aeternia is continuing to build, thrive, and survive in the year 12,025. So, one of the biggest issues that we have had in between last month, in late January when we reached out to you, versus now when we have not been able to update in basically a month, has been multiple surprising, unexpected, rare events for the North Alabama area. We have had 2 large frost days. Now, for people who live in the northern United States geographically, or whether they live in other countries where it gets much, much colder, a couple of, frost days is laughable. It's silly, oh, you're crying over a couple of frost days, a little cold weather got you down. Well, for us, it is a little more inconvenient than that. See, North Alabama geographically rarely has snow days. It happens, but maybe once a year, and that's on a really good year, or really bad year, really surprising year. So having multiple snow days, frost days within a month of each other, very unprecedented. We have had 2 snow days just over this last month, frost days, and so we have been in a big pickle, especially when it comes to the development of the Garden of Nations. Now, the Garden of Nations is our project to build a sustainable community garden for ourselves, for those hungry in our community that we can provide for, and of course for those micronations who decide to contribute and become members of the Garden of Nations. So, as we are trying to develop that, last year we put all of our resources, all of our produce out at vacay and tried to grow it. However, there was way too much shade, there's way too much dense forest and brush to be cleared through to tame the wilds of our capital territory. And so we really did not have much progress, and we were only able to get a very small harvest out there. I mean, a laughably small harvest. We got a few onions and a couple of peppers, and that was it for the entire Garden of Nations last year. So this year, we want to start off strong and do things right, and there's a few places we made mistakes that we are not going back to. We're going to fix those things up, make the Garden of Nations stronger than ever, and provide it as one of Aeternia's most stable and productive assets this year and for the coming years. That being the case, the Doikunian People's Republic says hello, great to see you, thank you for being here, and thank you for everybody who's here. Kingdom of Ruritania, great to see you. I saw your message as well. I have not been able to respond to people in over a month, so there is a lot to catch up on, there is a lot to do, but I wanted to make this impromptu live stream to let you all know that we are still here, we are still kicking, there's still plenty of videos that are in the works that are going to come out, but we have been back to back busy with lots of planning and lots of development that I will catch you up on today. Doikunian People's Republic says, will you do a Q&A at some time? Yes, we can in fact do that now if you would like to, simply because we have limited time. I want to walk you guys through what we have been up to, how we have been moving, even when the camera's not rolling, even when we can't post on our Instagram, on our TikTok, on our YouTube Shorts. And by the way, if you like those things, if you like checking out our Patreon posts and things like that, our Instagram posts, please check those out because it helps us a ton. When we spend time, a week maybe designing and editing an Instagram post to go up, and it goes up and there's not a lot of connection to it. It's a lot of resources we put into something. So the more you guys help us to elevate those posts, the more that you guys help us to get it out there, the more money we can make on Patreon, the more we can get close to support from YouTube and actually get monetization. And that means the more we can bring to you guys. That all being the case, let me show you what we've been up to this year. Today is about surviving 12,025, and that's what we're talking about. First off, just so that you know I am not out here telling lies, you can clearly see there is still just a little bit of ice on the ground. Now, the roads are pretty clear, so we're not having too big of an issue with travel anymore as we were. We were completely stuck inside for a while. But now, we are going to be showing you a few advances we've made. One of the things we didn't have last year were good nutrients for our garden. Our garden was slacking in many ways, again, with watering, with sunlight, and with nutrients. All 3 of the necessary things to keep our plants alive, we were effectively neglecting last year, and thus we didn't get much of a harvest at all. However, this year we are starting something a little bit better. As you can see, we have this very small, very simple to build wooden compost bin. Effectively, we have gotten some vines and we've gotten some scrap wood, and we put it together in this very rudimentary shape to be able to hold some compost in. Now, this compost has ice on it right now, so it is, of course, not going to be able to actually break down properly and build the compost that we need. However, we have gotten it started. We have some brown on there, some things like leaf litter, things like that, that will start to break down. We also have some food scraps in there that have been mixed in a layer to add some nitrogen to the soil. And over time, as things start to warm up after this frost has gone away, that pile's, of course, going to become wet and start to break down. So in the coming months, when we develop the Garden of Nations further, we will have the ability to have some nice, fresh aeternian compost to go along with it, so that when we plant our plants in the ground, they will have the nutrients to start off right. And so long as they are planted with proper sunlight, and so long as we are providing them proper watering, they should be ready for harvest in the next few months. So, Draconian People's Republic says, Emperor, how much kilograms of aluminum does the Empire have right now? That's a great question. I can actually tally that up for you, so we can go back and look. I can show you a physical amount is probably easier. I have the numbers on record, but I don't have them on hand with me right now. It'd be inconvenient to leave the stream to try and check it and get back on the stream. So what I'll do later is I'm going to update you on our treasure chest, on the building and creation and solidification of our treasure chest, which helped us to fix the problems that we've had with our throne room RV in keeping our treasure safe. So we can update you on that in just a moment. I'll go inside and I'll show you our treasure chest. We can look at our aluminum, show you how much aluminum and copper we have roughly, and then, you know, in the future I can actually tell you a weighted amount. But I can bring that up in the future. For right now, what I want to do is I want to go ahead and turn this, even though it's primarily ice, and even though we don't have much to show for it. In fact, as you can see, I'll go ahead and show you where we just added some more leaf litter, because this still has fresh ice in it. This is still, by all means, absolutely frozen. So this compost bin that we're working with is absolutely not going to be doing too much breaking down right now. Now, you may ask, why spend all the time making this compost bin? Why not just throw a big pile together? And that's a great question. The biggest reason is because you really want to try to measure out what they call a 1 meter by 1 meter by 1 meter cube volume of this material. So that's roughly the size you need to get a critical mass to start heating up and breaking down. So that's what we are working on right now. I need to collect us a little bit more leaf litter, which I'm going to do. But as we get this to start hitting right around here, right around the top of these vines, we will have roughly that meter by meter by meter, and we can start to get some breakdown as the weather heats up. One of the things we have as well, that Tiffany pointed out to me the other day as we were building that, is we have some nice broken down tree bark right here. That would be a brown. That would be something that we can add in on the top of that compost pile, and will break down pretty quickly. So that's what I'm going to go ahead and do. I'm going to start grabbing all of this stuff. You can already see it rotten already, having a lot of like good nutrients, good soil in it. You can see stuff like this. That is beautiful. That is what we want right here. This is nice, fresh soil, fresh compost that is being broken down already by the microorganisms that are a part of this ecosystem. So we're going to grab a bunch of this and we're going to start throwing that together. Now, you may say, you've been talking a lot about compost. You've been talking about this garden. How does that actually help micronations survive in the year 12,025? Well, my friends, this year, in particular in the United States, and I'm sure in other areas, inflation is increasing dramatically. Grocery prices are getting to be at all-time highs in many people's lives. You know, people have not seen grocery prices. People have not seen scarcity like this before in a lot of places all over the United States. And so we are having to have people contend with those kind of circumstances. And unfortunately, those things are not going to get better. So being the bearer of bad news that I am right now, we will have to find some way to improve on that. As the emperor of a micronation, I must take care of the people that we have and ensure their safety, their survival, and that their needs are met. So I make sure that one way or the other, we will have some food that we can produce on our own, as well as some other means of trading and surviving. Now, that's a tough area for me because I am not naturally a green thumb. I have not grown up around farms or gardens, and am learning as I go. So many of you may have better skills in that than I, and I would implore you to get started with your own endeavors if you can. That being the case, for any who can't or are just uneducated as I am and wanting to learn, you can certainly follow our journey and assist us and give us advice as we go. Even if you can't start your own garden, maybe this can be kind of a way for you to practice and get experience and learn all the wrong ways to do things so that you can then know what to do and how to improve when you start your own gardens and as you continue to develop your own nations. Now, hopefully it will also show you some potential benefits for joining the Empire of Aeternia. Doikunian People's Republic has a number of questions for us here in the comments, so I will be jumping to those in just a moment. I appreciate you guys being here as well. The 8 viewers and the 2-3 likes, something like that we have means a lot. I appreciate you guys being here. 9 viewers. It helps us to continue to grow. So what I'm going to do, we have our pile over here, as you can see. I'm just continuing to get stuff like this, kind of break it up, throw it on top of here. The more we can break it up, the better. These microorganisms have already been doing a pretty good job of it for us, but the smaller pieces they have to deal with, the easier it will be in the long run for them to do what they need to do. And the more we are getting these microorganisms that have already been doing a great job breaking down all of this material to spread out into our compost pile, making it that much quicker for the colony to grow inside the compost pile and start breaking down the rest of this beautiful leafy material we have. So we're spreading these guys out, distributing oh gosh, I forget the name of the bacteria, but there's a special bacteria, lactobacillus. We're spreading the lactobacillus around our compost, speaking as though we know what we're talking about and trying to move forward in the hopes that we do. So, have a good bit more here to grab. I'm going to keep grabbing that, and then I'm going to answer Doikunian Republic. As I knock you guys over, as I assault you, and you call the police on me. I am continuing to grab the rest of this in the pile, and then we will continue to go back to Dominion Republic's questions and answer those as I try to get some stability on this tripod as well. Hope you guys can see me all right. I'm going to grab up the rest of the stuff here. It looks like what had been a firewood pile that just sat here for years and years and years. So this is, yeah, you can see there's already, this isn't snow. This is actually, well, so this is ice right here. This is frozen. This is ice. The rest of this is bacteria. This is fungus. This is mold that is growing. And that's good. That's stuff we want in our compost pile. So I'm going to grab this, bring it all the way over here again, and do the same thing. Excuse the noise of the air conditioning unit. Please forgive that. Hopefully it's not too bad for you guys there. Okay. So now we're going to keep doing this, keep breaking it down. Just taking all of it, cracking it up, throwing it where we can, and we shall have some beautiful compost in the next few months. Hopefully, with all of these lactobacillus and other molds and fungi and bacteria spreading around, becoming a part of the ecology of our compost pile, we may be lucky enough to have a quicker breakdown than we think initially. So again, just continuing to spread this out, what I'm going to probably do here in a second or two is start with actually grabbing some more material to throw on the top, some leaf litter, to just keep that going. But getting good. Let me go ahead and answer Darkunian Republic's questions, and we will continue to move forward. Okay, let's see. Darkunian Republic says, sorry for being a person that asks a lot of questions, but can you make sometime a video on how to create banknotes for a micronation? I sure can. The thing that is interesting about developing banknotes is that it is it's an art, you know, it's something that's based around design. So I can, of course, give you my tips on how to create those banknotes, although I'm not sure how effective it will be for you personally. I use Photoshop. I can show you, you know, kind of the method that I have gone about to design the Empire's banknotes, but for your own method, you'll probably have your own tools that you want to access, and they'll require a little bit of research on your own part. But I'd be excited to talk to you about that. Willem Tellerian said, hello. Hey, Willem. Great to see you. Thank you for being here. I know you haven't been around on the server, but I appreciate you still checking out our content and trying to support us. It means a great deal, and I'm excited to have your support. Thank you for being here, sincerely. Right now, we are talking about surviving in the year 12,025 and talking about how we are creating this garden and developing a compost pile now to try to aid in getting a higher yield on our plants than we had last year when we actually tried to develop the garden and get a harvest out at our capital territory. And because of not being able to clear out trees and not doing enough, we absolutely did not. So we have a ton of compost here that's already been broken down in these wood chips that we're going to be, again, continuing to throw just onto our compost pile in the hopes that the colony of bacteria and fungi that have already built up there on this stuff will start to build up in the rest of it and continue to break it down for us. So now that I've done that, I'm actually going to go ahead and get my rake up a bunch of leaves, and throw that on top of the pile, ending our compost adventure for today, but not ending the video. We will still be doing some more stuff. I'm going to walk you through, show you our fledgling plants, and what we actually have as a potential harvest for this year coming up, give you a little bit of anticipation for that. Just on the first initial things we planted, we will have a video coming out about the Garden of Nations and how you can support it, become a part of it, assist its development and design, and also what other plants, what other things we're planning to do with it in the future. But for now, we rake. And unfortunately, you guys wait. So, I am raking through vines right now, which is probably not the best thing. But nonetheless, gonna move some of this stuff out of the way. Just scoop up some of our additional materials. And then we will be ready. So what I'm going to do, you guys may not be able to see it too well, but I have a little bit of leaf litter right here. I'm going to go ahead and grab this and throw it on top of our pile, just to try to spread that out a little. Have us some more coverage on the stuff that we're doing. And then we're probably going to call it. Tiff is here with moon dust. Tiff, show off that moon boy. I'll grab some more of the. Hey, good boy. I'll be right back. I'm gonna grab more leaf litter.
Why are you feeling like that?
Sorry, moon dust. I'm traumatizing the moon.
Okay. So what are you doing?
So that pile of wood that was right there, it's already broken down a lot. It already has a lot of good compost on it and a lot of mold that's there. So I'm like, ooh, I spread that out through the compost pile, and now a good bit of it, not all of it. And now I'm going to grab some more leaf litter and just throw it in.
Oh, you said you were. Now flip it.
I did a little bit, but there's
No,
still
you
that big
didn't. You have to take it out and then put it back in.
Well, you can just
No.
Okay.
You can't. It's not. You have to.
You ever see those people who have the ones in the spin?
Yeah, and they said the ones that spin, you have to spin every day, twice a day.
Right.
The ones that are like trash cans, but they're like cones, those you have to literally like essentially pour it out and then re-put it in. Otherwise, you're not giving a good flip.
Yeah, no, okay.
And then for this, similarly, because you're not like going from one pile and then moving over like some other people because they have the stages like set up, so they just go and shovel it into the next stage. But you're stuck in one little box, which means you just need to take it all out and then put it all back in to ensure that you actually.
I think I'd rather just use a flip multiple times a day.
But the spinny ones, you know for sure, are like getting it.
Yeah, but I can just.
You will not. But what's to say that you just doing a couple of flips here and there it means that you actually turned what was on the bottom to the top?
Because that's big enough that I can actually get that shovel and like go down. To
You're not listening.
You're like, what ensures that I get a good enough step?
No.
Why no?
Because I know how you are. Alright, and you flipped it on stream? You flipped it on stream?
I haven't flipped it at all. Like I was trying to tell you.
Then why are you putting more stuff on top of it?
Because, like I was telling you, there's still that layer of ice down there. So what I'm doing is I'm trying to pile it up. So that way, as
so then what's the purpose of turning it?
Well, I said I haven't turned
But
it.
to put new stuff on top and then turn it.
I'm not going to turn it. Hey, definitely. I'm going to get inside there and get that little shovel and turn all of it and make sure it all spins in. But if we cover up those bacteria and those mold spores, then they will grow a lot better with that water underneath.
I know. Is this...
You mind if I grab the microphone back? Thank you. Hello, everyone. We're back. I just added a little more leaf litter to the top of the compost bin. Point that out to you guys real fast. But then, then I'll show you the plants, and Tiff can maybe point out some of the ways that we've been doing things to try to improve our plant matter and get them to start growing better. And then we will go inside and I'll show off the treasure chest. Okay, so multiple things. Here's that leaf litter that I added. It's probably going to be hard to see, but you know, right here, for example, there's some pieces of the wood that we just broke down and put in there that has all that nice bacteria and fungi on it. And we have just piled on a little bit of extra leaf litter. That way this pile starts to get closer to the size it needs to be to really break down and heat up properly as the springtime temperatures warm it up. Any additional notes, Tiff? Okay, so that being the case, let's go ahead and look at our plants. Always. It is. It's a kind of bin, not a bin, a bunch of sticks stuck together into a compost bin. Yep, Tiffany lost her moon dust, but she found him again. He came and found her. Okay, so I'm going to walk this way. I'm going to turn. I'm going to show you guys all of the cool stuff that we have been doing here with our plants, because we're actually trying to develop some nice plants for this year. And so I just want to be able to show you guys kind of what we're working with here. Yes, he's reaching up. The first one, gosh, I can't see you guys at all, so hopefully you can see me. Let me get down here. Okay, so one of the first ones we have are these guys, these two potted plants that you might be able to see here. Let me drop you guys down a little so we can see where we're at. Maybe point you guys up just a smidge. Yeah, there we go. So these guys right here are blueberry bushes. They don't look like much yet. You can tell one, let me drop you guys down a little closer. One of them, this guy right here, is already starting to, see if I can get it back. There we go.
Get its flower buds out.
Yes, this guy is starting to flower just a little bit. The leaves are coming through really pretty, really nice. This one's starting to flower. One of the things we didn't realize when we were doing this is that blueberry bushes actually cannot self-pollinate. They're not asexual, and they actually need a second plant to produce blueberries. Now, even if we did let this one grow up by itself and it could produce asexually, it would not produce blueberries this year anyhow. It's just too young. It's just starting out from a cutting. So we figured we might as well get the other blueberry bush we're going to need anyway, get it to start growing. And so these guys are going to be growing up together. This year they will be, growing into maturity, and then next year hopefully we will get some blueberries from them.
Look at the boy.
And Moondust gets to hang out and chew grass. The other thing we have in this box, which actually we started in our seed starting tray that you guys saw from last year if you kept up with our gardening adventures, but these are some more mature radishes that we've actually pulled out from initial seed starting. We started them just in a little seed starting tray. Now we have them out in the beautiful sunshine.
This one's the tallest one.
Tell them about it, Tiffany.
Well, I'm just saying this one's the tallest.
That one's the tallest one. Which one's the coolest one?
This one has like bigger leaves.
That's true. This guy's kind of like wild looking. He's like spreading out a lot. Maybe he's a little underdeveloped.
Yeah, look, he's got a new leaf growing. So does that one. That one does. This one doesn't.
This one does. This guy.
This one does. It's so short, but it has a third leaf growing.
Oh, this one too, and this one.
Yeah, most of them are getting their third or their second set of leaves coming through.
And that is something that's pretty exciting, guys. We had issues around this. Sorry, I didn't know the microphone died. I hope you guys can hear me all right.
No.
These plants have been tough because the last couple days we've gotten ice again. So trying to get them to be feasible was rough. But we got them going all right under some lights inside and under a heat mat like we have them on right now.
Tell him hello.
I love this boy, and I hope he's doing good. And so that's what we're focusing on now, is trying to get them out in the sun a little more now that most of the frost has died back. And this should be our last frost of the year. So over the next week or so, we should get them outside more and more every day until they are growing up big and happy and healthy and strong. But that is all of our stuff.
Boy is very tall. You want to see how tall he is?
I am sure he is very tall.
How tall he is.
Unitism and Wilhelm, great to see you guys.
He's taller than a toddler.
He is. He's very tall. Tiffany wants me to show you guys how tall Moondust is. He's a very tall boy. He's stretching. What do you have to say for yourself, Mooney?
It
Nothing.
wants to go down.
Nothing. So real fast, I'm going to walk you guys inside while these plants get the last little drop of sunlight that they can. And I will show you guys our treasure. That is true. Hey everyone.
Sorry, that's
I know everybody said the microphone was having an issue. I had my last microphone die, so please excuse that. I'm going to try to charge it up while we talk, but I should have the other microphone that works out. Here is, of course, our beautiful throne room that we are in right now. I hope you guys are getting to enjoy a little bit of the scenery there. Let me see if I can get this to actually connect into place. It's not. Tiff, can you show everybody our treasure chest for the moment while I go ahead and grab the rest of our aluminum ingots, because they're not here right now, and also while I make sure that our other microphone charges. I would appreciate that.
What did you do to it?
Oh, it's just
No.
it's just over on the side. It just needs to be pulled. Yep, there you go.
No, it's still messed up.
It does sit up like that. That's just kind of how it sits. There you go. Okay. I will be back, everyone. Excuse me one moment. Let me sit.
Yeah.
I'm moving to a spot.
You told me to do it.
I did.
I was gonna do it and you took it.
No, please do it.
No, you said you're gonna do it now.
I did not say I'm going to do it.
You are.
I'm turning this on. I'm going to go get the lights.
All right. That's a wood box. That's the chassis ones you look at. It's just nails and wood.
It's more than nails and wood.
It's nails and wood. That's all the materials.
Okay.
This just happened to be cracked, but it works nicely as a little handhold. Wow. Hold on. There. Now it looks like it has hinges, but it doesn't. It's just setting nicely.
In process.
And then even though he put you guys back here and he keeps trying to overtalk me, even though he told me to do it, what are you doing? You said everyone's so high.
Yes.
But then you're going to move them again and again and again.
Yes.
Hey,
That is.
there's a wall there.
No, there's not.
There is.
It doesn't exist.
It pushed you back.
No, it's fine. Not a real wall.
You guys missed it. It was off camera, but AP totally tried to walk through a wall and it pushed him on his butt.
I can successfully walk through walls. If I believe enough.
Oop. Right there. Yeah, so there was more stuff in here. I'm sure you saw it from the short. Wait, did you ever put out the short?
No.
Oh, well, there was a short that shows this.
Oh, yes, my apologies.
Okay. Once again, as I was saying to begin with, if you've seen the short, then you've seen there was a lot more stuff in here. Right now, this is just like a bunch of the slagged aluminum. There's some like pure aluminum on the bottom, but the slag part. And that's a lot of what's in here. Occasional tiny like pure copper holders, the supports. You can't keep talking over me.
I'm not trying to talk over you. Somebody specifically requested that I review the ingots and how many ingots we have. So I don't want you to tell them, oh, we don't have the ingots, because we do have them. Also, did this one break?
All I'm saying is the ingots are not in this box.
No, that's right. Did this break?
Okay, you said to show them what was in the box. This is what is in the box, and I'm telling them what is not in the box.
My apologies. I'll be back.
All right, while he's gone, we can have a more smooth live stream without interruptions. See, these are copper supports from when we were making the calexit coins. We still have a couple more to make. Let's see. The slag parts, they got like heavily oxidized. These are also copper. This one's like a paper thin aluminum piece. It's kind of shiny, but it's super brittle. These are pretty like pure. They could be like looking better to you if we could like polish them. We just haven't gotten around to doing it. But these were just like excess that were in our crucible, so we just pour them down on the ground. That's all that's in the box.
And gosh, God. If I can escape to over here.
We have more copper.
We have a bunch of ingots.
Is that a bronze piece?
Aluminum bronze, yep.
No. They don't know. We can just tell them it's 18 karat gold. It's fine.
Fair enough.
No one will know unless they could come over here and test it.
We have vast amounts of wealth.
No, it does have a nice like color.
Mm-hmm.
It's the only piece like that in there, though. What is this?
It's a.
Why is it like
I tried to
like a
shape it.
popper?
Right.
Like it looks like you just poured into a little.
This one happened. Yeah, I drilled
Poplar.
a bunch of holes into a piece of wood, and then I poured the metal into the holes in the wood.
And what was the purpose?
Just to see if I can make a shape. And I did, kind of.
Okay. I got this really long and big one. Of what is this one?
Aluminum.
No. I know it's aluminum. The size.
Oh, I don't know the ounces.
Yeah, but I thought this was made in like a
Right,
weighed
but they weight it based on brass, I think. Like they say so many ounces, but since each metal has a different volume density, I should say, because each density, I don't know why I'm trying to complicate it. Because each metal has a different density, the mass of each in that volume is going to be different. That's some copper.
This is a bunch of what's in there, though.
Yep.
These type
Correct.
little nuggets. Well, these are nuggets. These are like little pieces. These are like nuggets.
Yes.
These are from the muffin tin.
Mm-hmm. Let me see.
Look at this one.
Yep. If
It's got like a little crack line down it.
Yep. If Doikunian Republic is here, we have the answer for them. So you asked how much aluminum, how many aluminum ingots do we have? Well, let me put
He
away.
can't tell you in weight, but he can count.
That's what I was going to say. Yes. I don't have putting away our copper. How dare.
Okay.
How dare I be quiet? Appreciate you. Okay. Once I put away those kind of misshapen pieces that are still valuable to us, but primarily for making other pieces, not as much as being weighed as a part of our treasure.
You don't want to count nuggets?
We'll count nuggets. Okay. Ready. So we have one. Okay. I'll set
it there.
But then you can't see as well. That's fine. Ooh, that's maybe too heavy for this. We'll try it.
It's fine.
Okay. Hello, everybody. Oh gosh, I wasn't trying to show off how messy the room was.
Sure we were.
We were. Astounding. So, hello everyone. Okay. So we now have a better setup, I guess. That's all right. We will do this. And we can do this. Let me rearrange our lighting so I can show you guys everything just a little bit better. And we shall continue. In discussing how we survive 12,025, which will in fact
you can't say
have to do 12,025.
You still can't say that. It's not over.
I said how we survive. This is the method that we use to survive it.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Answer the hard questions then.
Can do. Here are the hard questions.
How does your aluminum ingots stop politicians from just destroying education costs, medical costs?
Easy.
It doesn't.
We throw them at them.
That's violence. I thought you were a non-violent organization.
No. Not to hit them, to provide it to them. See, if you just give the wealthy all your wealth, then they win. And then
that's what they want.
Problem solved. Yeah, we just all become subservient to billionaires. That's just what
but you see how it doesn't matter. They got billions and billions and billions of dollars,
yes.
And yet they want more.
You don't think they'll be super appreciative of something that takes somebody their entire life to earn that they earn in half of a second?
No, they've never cared.
Dang it.
They don't think about it.
I seem to have put all my trust and faith in billionaires. Where did I go wrong?
There. You went wrong there.
Okay, so I think having stocks of things like aluminum will actually help us to make items that can be functionally used.
Plummets really hard and then occasionally rises and then just plummets really hard.
Absolutely. A lot of people try and put their currency backed by a specific type of valuable metal like gold or silver, as opposed to a fiat currency, which is just state backed. And so they will say, oh, that's so much safer because the price of gold will, always be high and it'll always be valuable. But there's a lot of issue with that and a lot of fluctuation in that price.
Did the US dollar not initially start on that?
It did. It did start on that.
And how much more does it cost now versus when that began?
Right, exactly.
Significantly a crazy amount less than what it was then.
Yes, but has a lot more
each
functionality.
year continues to just get worse.
Yeah, you're talking about like inflation. That's one of the biggest things that people do try and argue with that is like gold will help to like standardize it because then you can't have as much inflation because there's like a limited amount of gold.
Okay, let's play that route. Limited amount of gold.
Wait.
Limited amount of people. But there isn't a limited amount of people. There are a crowd ton of people.
Sure.
7 billion, 8 billion? What are we up to?
Getting there. Getting to 9.
10 billion.
9. Yeah, something like
We're
that.
up to like 10 billion. Cool. You think all that gold can be properly shared between everyone? That means no more billionaires, which isn't going to happen because they're going to scrounge and scam you out of everything they possibly can so they can have it all.
It's the value of something isn't necessarily about it being equally distributed.
Sure,
but anyway,
sure, but I'm just saying,
yeah,
like, if gold is
saying.
the thing that's backing you, and you have a limited amount, then that means there's only a limited amount
so
that
not
can be
everybody
sent
can
out
get gold,
in
and
money.
it's not functional, right? Yeah.
Not functional for the amount of people.
I agree.
Because then, let's go look back at the stock market crashing, right? Right? If everyone decided they wanted to come get their gold amount and you don't have a gold amount for the amount of money you have out to people, cool, you're completely broke and you still are in a massive debt to everyone else who's still holding your crappy currency. Which I mean can happen to anyone and everyone because this currency is just unstable anyway and will never be stable whether you back it or not. Because if everyone just wants to decide at one point that they want to come get it, you don't have it.
Right.
It doesn't stop stuff from crashing.
Agreed. Having the state run the currency is certainly much more malleable.
It is a little bit more stable, but it's still like
It's flexible.
Be destroyed.
It's flexible. So to go back to this, we cannot solve all of these problems in a day. What we need to do is
Can't even solve them within years. But you know what can happen? In months, it can be completely reverted and destroyed, as we are all seeing here in the U.S.
Very true. Very true. But
it all just went down the toilet.
But that's why we need to work on systems that allow us to work in small scale. You may not be able to save the entire world from economic disaster, but what you can do is help to assist your family and friends in being functional and being able to survive and maintain viability in their own day-to-day lives. So that being the case, we have a bunch of stock aluminum here. We melted it down and we have turned it into these bars, these ingots. Now, why is that super valuable? Well, because we can turn it into products which are more functional. Metals will always be needed for manufacturing, and having some of that metal is a great question. Why do I sound so congested? Because I am so congested. I am always congested.
Also,
can I? Do you have the? I have the mic. Thank you, guys.
People's Republic says sorry for being a person that asks a lot of questions, but can you make sometime a video on how to create banknotes for Micronation? Oh,
I already answered that question. My apology. If you can scroll down a little bit. No, you're fine. I jumped around in the chat. Okay, so to get back to this, the nice thing about having this aluminum is that we can make products from it. So right now we have this one large bar. This is the only one like this that we have. I have no idea how much it weighs, but it's significantly bigger than the others. So we count this as probably like 1.5 of the standard size. And then I will show you.
It's been a while since they've been through videos and they don't know what's happened to the full structure.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I mean, there's more to them, but that's the gist.
Talking about our dwelling at Vitae. Well, we have updates on that as well, but for the time being, let's get through this and I will answer some questions. We have that one big one, but then now we have a bunch of this size. So this size ingot, I think it was like 1/2 ounce or so. I'm looking for my phone and I'm using my phone to record this. I will have to go back and check exactly what the weights on these are so I can give you a pretty good estimate of exactly how much we have. But in this kind of standard size ingot that we have, for ourselves. We have 1, and I'll start placing them in, 2, as we talk and as we go, 3, 4, and this one's actually been kind of started to get polished and cleaned up a little bit. We want to really go through and polish and clean all of these eventually. But that makes 4. This one will be 5. I'll set that one in there. Then we're going to go to 6, 7, 8. Oh, see you, Tiff. Thanks for being on the stream.
We're on 8.
Yep.
That's 9.
Thank you. So this one's 9. We're going to go to 10 right here. 9, 10. We'll go to 11, 12, 13, 14. This one as well has been kind of ground down, started to become a little bit shiny. It's a little nicer than an ingot of ours. Okay, so 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So we've got 20 here. $21, $22, $23, $24, $25. $26, $27, $28, $29, $30, $31. And then this little tiny one, which is probably like a ½ ounce. And then we have this little tiny piece of, again, aluminum bronze there. So that's 31.5, let's say, ingots. And I will go ahead and show you guys, plus that big ingot, what that all looks like down here in the chest itself. So it doesn't look like much, but there's also a decently large chest. These are our 31 ingots right here, stacked up to the top of the chest. Then I'll get some light in there so we can see a little bit better. And that's how that goes. So we have these 31 ingots right here, plus the little ½ ingot, quarter ingot, whatever, and the big long ingot that we have that's all the way at the bottom of this pile. We also have, as Tiffany showed you guys earlier, these big honking pieces that are just pieces that came out of the crucible that we still wanted to use and have functional aluminum in them, but they do have a lot of slag. They have a lot of, big chunky impurities in them, dirt, clay, things like that, that you can see. And so these were pretty much just poured straight out onto the ground or onto another piece that we, just wanted to have it cool on to get rid of what was in the crucible, clean it out as much as possible. So these are what results from that. We have 3 of these that we need to actually go back. Kind of what we probably do is bash them with a hammer, with a rock, something. Try to bend it up as much as possible and get a lot of these impurities to break free from the solid connected pieces of the metal. Maybe try to grind it down a little bit, although we don't want to spend a ton of time putting work into these, and then remelt them back down and get some more nice pure ingots out of them. Again, what we can use those pure ingots for is to make cool products. So for example, I will show you one of the things that we have made, a number of things that we have made out of some of these. We also, that's not true. I said that's all that we had, but we actually had a few more ingots, although they are more displays for us as of right now, than I would say functional ingots, ingots that we are using for too much. So these are some additional ones that we have, that we use. These guys unplug the lights for just a second so that I can show you guys a little better here. Okay, so these ingots are pretty cool because they, again, are just some of our nicer ingots. You know, they're ones that have been polished quite a bit better. They look a little bit nicer, been cleaned up around the edges. Not perfect, but certainly getting better and better as we go along, improving them. We've also made things like this out of these pure ingots. So these things have been refined down, cleaned up nicely, and then we can make little items like this statue that we can sell and that are functional. We can also make things like, which we made in a previous video. Ooh. Oh goodness, now I'm not going to be able to stack up my design again. Got everything tumbling down. See if I can get it stable. It was super stable up there, and then I let it go. There we go. Okay, we also just get pieces like this sometimes. To me, this looks like kind of a little raven's head or something, bird head. And so I was going to make that into a little necklace or pendant. So that's been kind of a part of our display in the throne room RV for a long time that ended up getting currently put out of commission. And then we also have this nice hatchet, which is made out of an aluminum head. Aluminum isn't the best for actually using for chopping wood. It's, you know, not an abrasive enough material, especially this alloy of aluminum. However, we do have the nice arrow of progress that has been laser engraved into this. And I'm pretty proud of it. It's a pretty cool little piece. And we use it for chopping herbs, things like that, and as a decorative piece. So there's plenty of stuff that we can make out of those, you know, what do we have, 31 ingots, something like that. There's a lot that we can do with that. It doesn't seem like a ton when you are looking at it in the chest, but we're getting more and more each year. And the thing that's kind of crazy about that is that we are now at a point where we're starting to be able to specialize in that and starting to be able to make those products like we never really dreamed of being able to make before. You know, those hatchets, those little figurines, things like that. That's a complex task. And so if we can make stuff like that, who knows what else we can make and how crazy we can get with all of this. So a step toward improving industry there in Aeternia. We have, you know, talked about this for a long time, but now actually putting it into action, putting our money where our mouth is, so to speak, and actually developing that is an entirely different matter. And it's been helpful for us. It's taught us a lot. So those are the things that we're doing to survive 12,025. How we're getting better and better with that is effectively just trying to do things like ensuring that we can become more independent, both in our food production, for example, with the garden like we just showed, with our own manufacturing, creating our own products, getting the necessities that people need, the things that, you know, you would go to Walmart or something to buy otherwise. We are starting in a very, very small, very simple sense, but very practical sense with actually creating not only these metal ingots, but even metal products themselves, things that are functional, things that have a utility and bring benefit to people. So that's all the connection for that. Then we, you know, again, growing our own food, a necessity. And the other thing that we have still not completely finished, but are well in the works of, are the creation of our battery pack. This, and I will show you, is 3. I can show you the individual versions of them. Here's one, and here's the other 2. I'll drape this one over for the first one. And then here's the second one, and here's the third one. These are 3 individual cells or parts of what will become a 4-piece 12-volt 20 amp hour or 240 watt hour battery bank for us. So that is something that is almost a quarter kilowatt hour, meaning we could run a kilowatt of energy for an hour with 4 of what will be that battery bank, a little over 4 of that battery bank. So we are also becoming slightly more energy independent. This will still take lots of time and lots of effort to perfect and to improve on as we need to, but it is a big step forward for us and something that we can really try to get behind here. You know, developing things that go from trying to reach out to your community, trying to explain to people why what you believe in is so important, and developing a community that way, trying to do outreach is a necessary first step, and is something that helps you to build a nation, build a community, build an organization, build whatever it is that you're trying to build. Getting that message out to people is that first step. Actually defining and developing the organization is that first step. But once you get past that point, it becomes a slog for micronations. And even those micronations which do make it through the first month, 5 months, year, 2 years, whatever it is, start to hit large, major, consistent roadblocks in things that almost no micronation has been able to fully succeed in. And that is the development and establishment of independent systems for the nation. That is trying to rely on yourself as much as possible and the connections that you have micronationally to be able to sustain more and more of the needs of the society. That's getting into kind of a level 2 of micronational development. That's, the thing is charged. Yeah, okay, cool. You guys can still hear me. I still exist on the internet as a specter, as a voice. The big thing that I think is necessary for micronations to reach that step 2 is to be able to start developing those foundations, starting to be able to do things like we see plenty of micronations do in individual steps. There are very few, but there are some micronations that do grow their own food, and it's incredibly impressive. That is, even if it's just $1 or €1 or a single won or yuan or whatever it is, your currency, a single note in the empire, that it saves your economy, that it saves your people, that it saves them that much time and energy of going out and purchasing that thing as opposed to growing it themselves. That is powerful. That is the ability to survive on one's own, and it makes it that much easier to do again the next year in larger form. So that is fantastic. Being able to grow your own food is a big part of survival and independence for micronations. Then going into, again, energy, being able to sustain your own energy. There are some micronations who utilize things like solar panels or wind or water or hydro. There are some that have generators and things like that. All of those things allow an additional amount of energy independence. You think, for example, even if it's not a national catastrophe, like, your macronation cuts energy to your micronation in a really formal sense, and there's a big tension or whatever, or you stop paying your electric bill and you have to rely entirely on your own. Those are extreme cases. Those are very wild things, unlikely to happen to most people. What is more likely to happen, certainly, is that the power goes out. We all have situations like that, no matter what situation you are in, what society you live in, where all of a sudden the local electric grid shuts down, breaks down for whatever reason. It's less likely in some places. There are places that have a lot better maintenance and a lot better backup systems, but nonetheless, it happens. When it does, we need to be able to make sure that as micronations, we can keep running, that the people who rely on us can keep surviving under us and help us to keep developing. We all rely on each other, and we all owe it to each other to make sure that happens. So when we are developing these systems, energy independence and being able to create and store our own energy is a must. That's why we are developing that, and we are on our way to checking that box. Again, growing the garden is not something that is going to be able to make us 100% sufficient in growing our own food. It will just be an offset of some of our food cost. It will be something that reduces our independence on our external macronation and on external groups. The same thing with our energy independence. Again, it's not going to stop us from using the commercial electric grid or our macronational resources, but it will allow us to slowly start to improve our independence, slowly reduce our cost, and take back some of our own time and effort and value that we can then exert on continuing to grow ourselves. Being able to rely on these metals, being able to rely on our own manufacturing. Again, not to be able to build and design everything we need, but to start making a small dent in that, and potentially even to be able to offer that to the wider community, not only saying, hey, we are becoming more independent, we are becoming more self-reliant, but also we are becoming more valuable to you. If we have extras in our garden, we may be able to attempt to sell those. If we are able to build up enough energy storage, maybe that will be valuable to some people during times like storms, or to people who may have been unable to pay their utility bill, or people who are homeless and need some light or some warmth in troubling times. The final thing is that then this metals industry may be able to provide for us additionally. Again, now with our ability to weld and to start actually working on those things, we still don't have the ability yet to weld copper and aluminum and things like that. We would have to advance ourselves a little bit more, get into inert gas welding, which would be a more complex topic. But that all being the case, we can now weld steel, as you've probably seen in some of our previous videos, where we have done just that and starting to weld steel plate and recycling steel tin, steel from tin cans, or what are effectively steel plate cans, the vegetable cans, things like that that you get from the grocery store. Those are thin sheet steel, and we're able to recycle those and actually weld them if we properly reshape them and get them to be a little more dense for us. You can weld those together, and that's adding to, again, a little more independence for us and a little more functionality for us, a little more value that we can start to provide to our community. So when you're talking about how you develop your micronation, when you're talking about how your micronation survives the next year and continues growing under all of the stress and strain that you may be feeling, when you are trying to think of this amazing future where you have all of these people who are coming together and achieving their dreams and doing the impossible, and whatever it is that is your driving force, that is your driving cause, these futures, these dreams, these ideas that we have, these ways that we connect to each other, the only medium in which that can exist is through support. We cannot exist in a vacuum. We cannot truly be completely independent from everyone else because that is not the way the world works. All countries are dependent on each other. All groups of people are dependent on each other to some small degree. What you can do is to be able to provide value. You can become independent to the point that you are able to provide so much more value than you are consuming, that you are able to grow to the point that you are a staple, that you are, one of the main reliant sources of industry, sources of value, sources of support and protection that a large hub of people, that a community, that a nation depends on. That's how we develop these micronations that eventually become macronations, that eventually become staples of their communities, staples of the people who rely on them. And so, in all of this, we have to make moves toward self-reliance and value creation more than anything. We have a ton of way to go before we are close to being able to support a permanent population here in the Empire of Aeternia. But we aren't at step one. We are slowly moving past potentially even step two. We are taking these baby steps. We are moving very slowly, but for a micronation, we are doing, I believe, some pretty profound things. Building up a metals storage for our treasury. Being able to build up energy storage and actually harness energy through solar generation, and maybe even future methods of energy generation. Being able to start to grow our own food. It is, it's the start of a bright future. So that, my friends, is how I believe we as micronations survive and thrive in 12,025. I think it is necessary that we reach out to our communities, that we support the people who are most vulnerable, that we feel will be most attacked, most looked down on, most pitted against one another, most deprived of resources. And we tell them, we are your friends. We support you. We are happy to have you as a part of our community. We cherish you as valuable. And we want you to help us grow and develop, to help protect your interests and the interests of those in this community. And we'll do it. We'll provide that value. We will start growing. We will start taking care of our neighbors as our friends and seeing each other not as divided individuals pitted against each other in a system that is designed to tear us apart, but rather being communally connected, being people who are fundamentally tied to the same vested interests, people who were connected to a community as a source of their own development, as well as a resource for others, as something to provide for others. Just like these ecosystems, just like these plants we were talking about earlier today when we were, working on the compost bin, and we are looking at all these dead, decaying plant matter and pieces of bark and stuff, all of these mushrooms and fungi and bacteria that we're throwing in and trying to get to break down this material and destroy it and turn it into something new. We are fundamentally relying on the organisms that are a part of that biome to create something that is new and that is positive and that can help it to grow and flourish in an ideal setting. That's what we're doing with micronations. I think we are trying to take something that may not provide a lot of nutrients, may not provide as much value as it could, and trying to enrich it, trying to be that fertilizer, trying to come in and say a small group of people can really work to make a large change, and we can continue to do that and help to feed and restore and grow these communities into vibrant, more dense, more valuable, and more consistently dependable spaces for every member of every community. I'm getting messages. All right. I think what I'm going to go ahead and do, guys, is read a few more comments. Thank you all for participating today. If you are wanting to continue to keep up with us, if you're wanting to participate in quests that we have, which help you to gain benefit and to achieve the prize that we give away for these quests, it also helps us to develop our micronation, to actually get deeper into these communities and provide value for others. So if you want to be a part of all that, definitely check out our Discord. It would mean a lot to me. We can also have you check out our Patreon if you don't mind. It has some pretty interesting stuff on there. We try to do exclusives, although those are fairly limited. A lot of the time it's just early releases for those on our Patreon, but nevertheless, we do love our patrons. And if you do decide to spend money on the Patreon, of course, there's a free version where you do still get access to the things on our Patreon. But if you decided to pay for that Patreon, if you decided to really put yourself out there and do that, we also have a new video that's going to come out soon, something that I have been waiting to do for a long time, and that is a review of a Q&A that I did with James, our previous Imperial ambassador, in fact, and our citizen who is currently serving in Ukraine, wearing the Arrow of Progress, wearing that symbol on his arm, trying to support a community that desperately needs it, one who has now had its closest allies in the United States potentially turning their back on the people of Ukraine. So there obviously is a lot going on. There's a lot of tension right now and a lot of uncertainty for the people in Ukraine. And we are proud to have James there trying to make a difference, trying to support those people. And I have been ashamed that I haven't been able to get the Q&A out sooner. So that will be our first, maybe not our first, but our most recent Patreon exclusive. That means it will not come out on the Empire of Aeternia YouTube channel, our Instagram, our TikTok, any of that, except maybe a snippet to kind of advertise the Patreon. The Patreon will be the first place that gets it and will be the only place that gets the full version. So if you are interested in watching that, learning a little bit about who James is, what he was doing in Ukraine, and what his thoughts were before he left, definitely check out the Patreon. Definitely go and support us there and try to help us build community in these spaces. As we continue to go, we hope we can provide benefit for your nations. We hope we can provide benefits for your communities. And we hope that those of you who feel you're lacking communities, lacking spaces that you need, lacking the resources that are owed to you by your society, that you would consider joining the Empire of Aeternia and helping us to build them for ourselves. As always, in the Empire, we unite the invisible to achieve the impossible. As always, we say, Aeternia forever. And I will see you all very soon. The next things that we have. Frank called him, said, what are you talking about? What is the Empire of Eternity? What is this? Great question. So, Frank, this is the Empire of Aeternia. We are a micronation. We are a group of people who are coming together to create a nation. We identify as citizens of that nation, and we are pushing forward with the goal of becoming more self-reliant. So we are, for example, we have a 3.3 acre piece of property that is the capital territory of Vitae. It is our capital territory. It is something we are developing not only to produce food for the citizens of our nation, the people who have already subscribed to and become a part of our nation and are contributing to that nation, but also to eventually be built to support residents of our nation. So people who would actually live in the capital territory of Vitae. We have started on that process by starting a small dwelling there. It's an experimental building that right now is not capable of, and probably will never be capable of, hosting residents in its state. It is effectively a storage facility, and we're building that so that we can learn a little bit about using the materials that we are and materials that we have easy access to be able to build safer structures, and eventually getting to the point where we can ensure we build something that is safe and up to standard and code for somebody to live and feel comfortable and feel happy as a citizen and resident of the Empire. So that's what we're doing. We're trying to put together a community, assist a group of people who otherwise are struggling individually and who feel that they are left abandoned by their home country. So we're trying to put those people together. We're trying to give them home and tell them your community does accept you, your community does love you, and you are a valuable part of your community. That we in the Empire of Aeternia are fundamentally tied to the communities that we're a part of, and we want to see them grow and thrive. So that being the case, that's what we are doing here in the Empire of Aeternia, and I hope you will continue to follow us on our next adventure. Next few videos that we have out, we are going to be doing a video on that treasure chest. So if you want to see a little bit more in depth on how we built it, as well as what we're going to be doing to advance it. Again, Tiffany talked about this thing doesn't have hinges right now. It just, look at that. It just comes straight off. So we're going to be eventually putting some hinges on there. We also have some cool decor that we're going to add to it. Let me make sure that my microphone is still on. Hello. Can you guys hear me all right? Yep. Okay, cool deal. We have some cool decor that we're going to be putting on the chest as well. That's something that'll be a part of that video. And as well, it'll just be a cool edited video. We're taking some time with the process of it, really trying to describe this idea of going from the throne room RV that we had, that we were building up, that we were trying to fix up to get to the point that we can start taking it around and making it more accessible to develop Vitae, because we have this closed off living space that is able to be developed out there. So we can camp out there, trying to work with that as our main focus other than the dwelling. We ended up having the throne room get destroyed by bad weather. The frost that came in caused tree branches and ice to bust through the roof. And so we had our previous edited video, if you've checked out that one. If you haven't, I recommend you do. Where our throne room was just completely destroyed, and we had all of this metal, our beautiful treasury that we're starting to build up, this value that we had started to create, also getting covered in mold and being inaccessible and unusable for us. So we had to rescue that treasure. We had to go inside the throne room RV, which had been destroyed by the weather, rescue and salvage what we could from our throne room and clean it properly. And then we had to go through and now start to rebuild. We rebuilt this throne room from the remnants of the throne room RV. We've made some improvements to using this as our throne room now for the time being, as the throne room RV is repaired. And also, we have been able to start to make advancements now in protecting our resources, like the treasure that we had left in the throne room. We now have it back. We have it cleaned up, as you saw, and we are building things to protect it, to ensure that that is unlikely to happen again, that it is in much more capable hands and is easy to transport. So we are building this chest to support that. And it is a symbol of us moving forward, of us building and continuing. So after this building of the treasure chest, which will be an additional part of our treasury in our throne room, we will then be moving forward with the garden and showing you guys edited footage of us building and developing this garden from the first day that we planted the first seeds to now, and probably a week or so in the future. We will have a good bit of editing, a good bit of filming to still do, even on this video, even on the video dealing with the treasure chest. So there is a good bit of time that I am going to ask you guys to be patient for us in continuing to come out with videos. We have been hit by some literal storms and some figurative storms, all kind of colliding in this moment. So we are recuperating, we are building, and we are coming back stronger than ever. Again, we want to actually reach out to the local communities here. So we have a lot planned as far as that goes. And we're having to take things step by step by step to ensure that we hit things not only in the right order, but also at the right time. With spring coming up, with summer soon to follow, we will be slowly building our momentum to doing more and more of those activities and providing more and more to the community. So that's kind of the process we're going with in building these videos and getting this series together, is that hopefully if you've watched the last video that we did on the destruction of the throne room RV, you can watch the next video that we come out with and learn about how we fix that up, not only in repairing the throne room, which we showed you in that video, but in developing this chest, then onto the garden, then onto developing some other things that I have some sneak peeks for, starting to get more people in our community excited about developing the garden and giving them more local citizens positions, developing things in the garden, as well as becoming potentially a new blacksmith, trying to expand our development at Vitae and having people actually assist us with the development of our infrastructure there, and continuing to grow into the summer. So if you're interested in seeing that, if you feel it would help your nation to watch another attempt to grow and advance, definitely let us know. And if there's anything I can do for anyone, please reach out. Our info is in the description. You can reach out to us at aeternianempire@gmail.com or at our website or any of our other social media. Please join our Discord. Please join the Patreon. And as always, Aeternia forever. See you guys next time. Oh, also, everybody that I need to reach out to, I am still reaching out to you. Don't think I've forgotten you or am ignoring you. I'm still reaching out to plenty of people. It's taking time as we create the rest of these videos and stuff. Anyway, I appreciate you guys. Thank you for being here. And Aeternia forever. See you guys.